Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michon and I do weekly DIYs, hauls, and other fun things. If you're not new, hey doll, hey. So in today's video, I'm bringing you a round of brand new DIYs. I am so excited. I feel like I've been gone for a couple of weeks in regards to brand new DIYs for you. I really hope you guys do enjoy this. They are another high-end black and white farmhouse chic theme. Let me know in the comments below which one happens to be your favorite. And if you do enjoy this, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And if you're new, I would love if you would consider subscribing and hitting the bell right next to it so you're notified every time that I upload. All right, dolls, let's jump right in. So up is this 3-panel decor sign, and what I'm using are 3 of these signs from Dollar Tree. They have like the gold words that say coffee, weekend, and sarcasm on it. All I did was punch out the middle panel of the sign because they are kind of like nailed in. So after I punched those out, just give it a little bit force. I took my scraper spatula tool from Dollar Tree and removed the gold words and then tried to sand down just a little bit so I can get a more smoother finish. I realized that it wasn't really working. I wouldn't be able to paint over it. So I just covered it up with some brown craft paper using a glue stick and making sure I secured it down and then cut off the sides where the extra paper was. After that, I realized I needed to remove the little sawtooth hanger on the back, and it is dug deep in there, you guys. So it took a little bit force and a little time for me to remove it, but I finally removed it, and then I took my sanding block from Dollar Tree to try to get a nice smooth surface on that, as well as removing all of the excess craft paper that was around. And then to remove like these nails that were in the frame, I had to use these pliers, and it wasn't that easy, you guys. You got to put just a tiny bit of force behind it, but in the end, it all came out. This is how everything looks after I was done dismantling it. Then I took some lightweight spackle from Dollar Tree and filled in the little like gapes. They're not really holes. They're just kind of like, you know, like dents inside of the cardboard. So I just took that to it and then I set it aside to dry, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint my frames, and I am just using my ink chalk paint and giving those 2 good coats. Now these frames, I think you should probably sand them down first because they're really, I don't know what the word is for it, but when I put the paint on there, it was extremely slick, so it didn't like stick to it that easily, and some spots kind of the white was showing through. I don't know if you get what I mean, and I don't know if porous is the right word to use, but I had to do like 2 coats of this chalk paint, and then I had to go back and spot paint it. So just be on the lookout for that. After my spackle was dry, I just wiped it down with a rag and then sanded it down so I can make sure I can feel that it was a nice smooth surface for me to paint. After I wiped all the dust down and everything off, then I took my ivory chalk paint. I just got this little bottle from Walmart, and I just gave my signs 2 coats of each of that color, letting it dry in between for about 15 minutes. Then I took a chip brush along with some antique wax paint, and I just distressed on the edges and then all on the inside of all 3 of these cardboard pieces. I really love how this turned out. You can't really see on the edges, but I just wanted to make sure that it looked right and it looked good before I went in the middle and did it all, but I really like it. The next thing I did is took this peel and stick decor from Dollar Tree. It says, be patient, be gentle, be humble, be loving, Ephesians 4:2. And so all I did basically is just took each of the pieces that were already pre-cut and just smooth them out onto the front of each of these panels. Then I went ahead and took my glue gun and hot glued the cardboard pieces back inside of the frame. Super easy. And then you can figure out if you want to stack these together, let them stand separately on their own. It's up to you, but I wanted a nice like table decor piece. So what I did is just hot glued two of the side ones on top of the middle one. It kind of fell apart because it just didn't dry and set well. So I thought that it was all good, but it came apart. I just had to remove the glue and then just go back and put a good amount of hot glue on there, let it set up, and then after it's set up, I turned it around and then just put a generous amount of hot glue on the back, like in the creases where the frames meet. And that's all for this one. I absolutely love it. I think it's so pretty, and I think it is really good like table or even on a large shelf that you have. I really like this one. Sort out of the lies. Oh baby, yeah. There was a part of me that knew that, and still I'm caught by surprise. I thought you'd always be mine. Next up, I am taking two of these decor signs, the new ones from Dollar Tree. One says home, the other says bless this nest, along with this home sweet home decor sign from Dollar Tree as well. Everything's from Dollar Tree, obviously. So the first thing I did is removed the inserts to each of these signs, as well as the little the black peg pieces and the sawtooth hanger, and I just removed everything with my pliers. Then I took my spatula and removed the word home, bless this nest, and the home sweet home galvanized sign, because this is the only piece I'm using from this decor sign. Once everything was out, the pieces that made up the sign, I just put some brown craft paper on one of them. I'm only using one because I'm making a tray out of this. After I covered it with the brown craft paper, I painted the front side using my plaster chalk paint, and I gave that 2 coats. And then I painted the frames using my white chalk paint, and I gave that 1 good coat. Just made sure it wasn't too thick because I'm going to do some distressing on these frames as well. Now, since I'm stacking these together, I didn't have to paint the bottom of one of them, but they are kind of stacked invertedly, if that makes any sense. So that way the front of each of them is on the top and the bottom. And then I just hot glued the cardboard piece back down into the bottom of the tray, and then hot glued the top piece on the bottom piece, as you can see that I'm doing. I really hope I'm explaining that right. Then I took my finger sander and then sanded down all of the edges and the corners of this tray, and then hot glued the home sweet home galvanized sign onto the front middle of this tray. And then I had these leftover, like, they're not tacks, but they came from another Dollar Tree sign, and basically they came off of I think it was like a laundry sign or something. I don't know. It looks like they're tacks on the top, but then they're like screws on the bottom. I don't know, but I thought they were really cute to reuse and put on this. So after I finished all of my sanding that I wanted, I painted those using my ink chalk paint, and I gave that 2 coats. Now, I was being real lazy. I didn't go downstairs and get my husband's drill. I just kind of used a little mini screwdriver that I had to make a little hole for me to fit the thing in there. In the end, I had to use my hammer to get it to go down in there, and I put 2 on each side, as you can see here. This is how it turned out. I thought it was missing something, so I decided to use this scrapbook paper that I got from a book from Walmart, and I had another piece of the cardboard left over, so I just measured that out, traced that, and then cut that down with my Cricut cutter, and then I just covered the back side of that paper with my glue stick, and then adhered it inside of the tray right on top of that cardboard piece. And I think this is perfect. It really made this tray, but again, I felt like it was missing something, so I took these wood candlesticks from Hobby Lobby. I got them like a year ago, and I cut them down to where I could just have the feet of these candlestick holders, and I sanded it down on the top so I can get an even finish. I painted those using my white chalk paint, and I gave them 2 coats, but then I also did do a little bit more sanding so that it could match the weathered and the chippiness of my tray, which I absolutely love the look of it. After I sanded those down, then I just measured them onto the bottom of the tray and then hot glued all of those pieces down. And that is it for this one. So stinking cute. I love that it's standalone. I love that I can put items in here. I just think it's really, really pretty and high-end looking.
Keep moving like the river goes, baby, going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought it's time I'm letting you go.
Next, I'm taking 2 of these glass vases from Dollar Tree and painting them with my ink chalk paint, and I gave them each just 1 coat. Now, I had these glasses in my last Dollar Tree haul, not the live one, but the one before that, and I just really love the textured vase of these and the little top like diamond balls for it. So after they were dry with that ink chalk paint, I took a chippy brush and some white chalk paint and started doing a little bit of distressing around on each bottle and each of those knobs. Really love how they turned out. I kind of went back and forth with putting more black on it because I wanted it to be more black and not overpowered with the white distressing. After that was done, I took some twine from Dollar Tree and just hot glued it around the bottleneck of each of these vases and just hot glued it down, cut it off, and that is it for these. I absolutely love how easy, how simple, how cute, how chic, everything that you can think of. I absolutely love these vases.
No, it's no more, no. I got so high on a low. That's when I loved you the most. Now I thought I should let you know. Yeah, no, it's no more, no.
For this next DIY, I'm taking 3 of these decor signs. In the insert is kind of like ceramic. So all I did was pop them out. I'm going to use the frames on another DIY later on. But for these ceramic signs, decor pieces, anyways, I sanded them down because they had some dried glued on them. I should have sanded it down just a little bit more so you didn't have to. I painted it a lot to not be able to see the image and the phrase in there. So if I sanded it down just a little bit more, it probably would have been easier. Anyways, I took these sticker gems that I have a lot left over and I just placed them around the border of each of these ceramic decor pieces. These are going to be coasters now. So after I did all 3 of them, I just took some simple black acrylic paint and I painted each of these all around the top and on the sides. And I gave each of these 3 coats. Like I said, if I would have sanded down the image and the phrases in between, I didn't have to do so many coats, but hey, I did maybe 2 because it was acrylic paint. Anyways, moving on, I took these stencils from Dollar Tree. They say be you, be kind, be brave, be humble, all that. So, or be happy. Anyways, I cut those down into those single squares and just stippled them onto the middle of each of these coasters using some white chalk paint. After they were dry, I just peeled it up and they are so pretty, so easy. I love the texture, the dimension of them. I just think they are gorgeous.
Was gonna patch up all the scars, but we smashed up all the parts. Oh, na, na, na. Always knew that you were stubborn, but didn't know it'd be so hard to figure out who you.
Then next up, I couldn't leave this video without doing a wreath, and I love this one. It might be my favorite one so far. I don't know, maybe second to favorite. Anyways, I took a 14-inch wreath form from Dollar Tree along with a bunch of florals that I have collected from Dollar Tree, Walmart, everywhere you can think of. The first thing I did with these wire wreath forms, I like to cover them with burlap so that way it's easier for me to apply and adhere my florals. So I just took 1 spool of the burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, wrapped it around. It didn't completely cover it, but hey, that's enough. I just needed enough to get it all around. Then I just took an assortment of greenery that I recently picked up from Dollar Tree, started hot gluing them down, and then I had a lot of these like eucalyptus leaves from Walmart about a year ago, and I needed to use them. They kind of just been sitting around, and I love the way that they look. So I just started sticking them in there. And then I have these white roses from Dollar Tree that I think are so, so pretty, and I just couldn't wait to put them in a wreath. And so I just kind of hot glued everything around. You guys know my wreath making is just kind of how I'm feeling. I just was feeling really like light and airy and ready for spring, and just I was in a really good mood, so I wanted something to kind of just go play off of my mood and how just, you know, grateful and blessed I am to be living the life that I am. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I did. I just wanted this to be so green, so bright, and then the white and the cream florals just really brought it all together. These new florals I got from Dollar Tree, they're the wildflowers. They have really pretty greenery, but they also have these white wildflowers, and I just put everything around, and once I was done, I just put it aside, and then I realized I wanted to put a word in between this wreath. So I took the other piece of cardboard piece from the tray DIY, covered the back of that up, or the front of that up, with some brown craft paper, and I'm using this Hello Decor word that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm painting both of these white. Now, the Hello Decor word I was kind of worried about because I thought I could take the gold piece off, but I couldn't. It's just there. Couldn't take it off. So I decided to go back with a smaller paintbrush and paint all in between, and just took my time with it. Once everything was dry, I hot glued the hello word on to the front of the cardboard piece, and then positioned my cardboard piece onto the back of the wreath. Hot glued that down, but then I also took some nautical rope to give it a little bit more support so it would stay, and just hot glued that towards the back, as well as knotting one side. I probably should have knotted both, but hey, you live and you learn, right? But I just knotted it down and hot glued it down, and I love the way that it turned out. It is so pretty, so high end, and I absolutely love this wreath. I love my wreaths, you guys. This one is one of my favorites.
Down, down, baby, going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep moving like the river goes. Baby, going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go.
All right, dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be blessed, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
No more.